Welcome to Market Momentum AI and Analysis.
So if you've been watching the markets, you know the headlines can feel a little mixed, but there is one story that's coming through loud and clear. U.S. tech stocks are on an absolute tear. Yeah, the major indices are kind of telling different stories right now, but it's the tech sector that's really leading the charge, creating this incredibly powerful upward wave.
That's the big question, isn't it? So, what we're going to do here is break down all the key trends across the major asset classes. We're talking stocks, crypto, even precious metals. We're going to figure out what's hot, what's not, and maybe, just maybe, what the next big mover could be. Okay, let's dive right in. So, we've got to start with the strongest trend in the market right now, and that is, without a doubt, the truly remarkable performance of U.S. stocks, specifically the tech sector that's putting the whole market on its back. And I mean, this chart really says it all, doesn't it? You look at the Dow Jones, it's showing a little dip. The S&P 500, mostly flat. But then you see the Nasdaq, just blasting through to new record highs. What's so fascinating here is the clear split. This isn't a market where everything is rising together. Nope. This is a story about tech leadership, and it's basically a giant flashing sign pointing to where all the real momentum is. The general feeling right now is that we might be entering what some folks call a melt-up phase. That's where investor enthusiasm and a whole lot of FOMO, fear of missing out, just pushes the market even higher, sometimes really fast. The analysis suggests that once we get past October, which is usually a bumpy month, the path could be clear for this rally to just keep on running. Okay, but beneath the shiny surface of this awesome market performance, the wider economic data is sending some, well, let's just say some more complex and frankly pretty contradictory signals. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. So what's with the big number 22 on the screen? Well, according to a really deep dive from MarketWatch, 22 U.S. states are actually showing economic signs that are consistent with being in a recession. That's nearly half the country, which definitely signals some weakness under the hood. So how do we make sense of that? It's crucial to know how to read these signals. And while these are absolutely important warning lights flashing on the dashboard, the analysis suggests that a big nationwide recession probably won't hit us until 2026. The thinking is that this current market rally still has some room to run. So what's the advice? For now, it's to stay invested and ride that momentum. All right, let's totally switch gears and look at something a bit more speculative, but definitely interesting. The crypto market seems to be waking up from its nap, and it's showing some really clear signs of new strength and some serious upward momentum. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. We're seeing some super clear technical signals. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum have just punched right through some major resistance levels. Think of it like a price ceiling they were stuck under, and that shifts their status firmly into the buy column. They are in a confirmed uptrend. Now Ripple, or XRP, that's the one to keep an eye on. It's in a holding pattern, kind of coiling up like a spring, just waiting for that big breakout before it flashes a similar buy signal.
But it's not a buy everything market. Far from it. After a really strong run, our analysis of precious metals like gold and silver suggests that, yeah, it's probably time for a little bit of caution.
And this is that classic dilemma for any investor, right? On one hand, gold and silver have posted these incredible gains, which is amazing if you were holding on. But on the other hand, the technical indicators are now flashing these big warning signs, saying these assets are overbought and might be due for a cooldown. And if you're wondering, what on earth does overbought even mean? It's actually pretty simple. It just means the price has gone up too far, too fast, without taking a breather. And when you look back at the charts, when gold and silver have gotten this stretched in the past, they don't always crash, but they often enter this really frustrating sideways grind that can last for months. So what's the move here? Well, the key takeaway isn't to sell everything and run for the hills. It's more of a call to be patient. The strategy is to hold on to what you've got, but maybe think twice before putting new money to work way up here. Your capital might just find better, more immediate opportunities somewhere else while the metals take a break. And finally, we have to talk about the big one, the massive underlying current that influences literally all of these markets, from stocks to gold, and that's the US dollar. What it does next could be the most important signal of all. So get this. The US dollar index has been stuck in this tight, sideways pattern for 98 days. Now, why is that number important? Because a very similar 98-day pattern formed back in 2018, right before the dollar took off on a huge sustained rally. We could be sitting at that exact same kind of decision point right now.
The magic number to watch is 99 on the dollar index. A clean break above that level could kick off a whole new wave of dollar strength. And a strong dollar tends to be a major headwind for things like precious metals, so it could make any sell-off there even worse. This is the domino that could set a lot of other things in motion. It's definitely the key indicator to watch.
So, let's put it all together. How do you navigate all this? Well, think of it like the ocean. The big wave to ride right now is that awesome momentum in US tech stocks. Then you have the ripples. Those are the speculative opportunities popping up in crypto. But the tide might be going out on precious metals, so that's where you need to be cautious. And underneath it all, you've got the powerful current of the US dollar, which is going to dictate where everything flows next.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us for this breakdown. If you got something out of it, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and like. It helps a ton.